I think the biggest thing that I like about golf is everything is in your own hands. You control your own destiny.
To stand out in today's game, one must set their own path, as golf's next superstar could come from anywhere in the world.
It's a small town.
While each area presents its own challenges,
It's not easy. You need to have a passion for the game. There's always some kid who can play all year round.
what matters is the work that's put in.
You want to look back and be proud. At the end of the day, I know who I am.
And when the time is right, they fully reveal themselves to the world. Eslov, Sweden. A small, traditional Swedish town. Quiet, yet proud.
I grew up there. Grew, 35, 40,000-ish. So everyone doesn't really know everyone, but it's still a pretty tiny one.
It's where Ludvig Åberg spends his winter. And while he's taking a break from a rigorous schedule at Texas Tech University, there's one major landmark that pulses loudly and strongly within him.
We're at Eslov's Golf Club. This is where I was a member ever since I was a kid. This is kind of where I come back every time I'm home. It's a really cool place in my heart. It's pretty unusual to have this kind of much snow and this cold at this time of year.
The world #1 amateur must improvise in order to tune his game for his exemption in the DP World Tour's Hero Dubai Desert Classic.
You got to be a little creative with your practice and what you try to do. So when the snow's powdery, you can always use a broomstick. So I keep it in my bag and I'll sweep off some snow here. The biggest challenge is probably to get the tee in the ground. For me to get the spot in Dubai, it's going to be really cool. Anytime you get to test the waters before you actually turn pro, it's going to be beneficial. You understand what's needed for the next level. Usually hitting bunker shots out of sand, and the sand is a little heavier. The snow just weighs nothing. So it just kind of slides through. It's so easy. It's pretty cool. Look at that. It's hard to do your normal practice. Putting is really hard, obviously, but at the end of the day, it is what it is, and you just got to figure it out. I've never been anywhere else. Whenever I'm home, this is always where I play, where I practice.
His dad is playing. He has played all the time, so he brought him to the golf course when he was a young kid, 4 or 5.
He loves the game of golf so much. It's kind of influenced me as well.
He hanging out with me here on the club and just played and played around. So he's been raised here.
He used to bribe me a little bit, so try to get me out to the course, almost blackmail me to get some ice cream if you stay there for another hour or something like that.
He was more interested in the ice cream that he was offered when he was there. So, but then he realized that he played very well.
He made his first hole-in-one on the 13th hole here in Eslov, and he wasn't tall, but his swing was very nice. This was the only thing that I was better than Ludvig, but a couple of years ago I had made 2 hole-in-ones and Ludvig just made 1.
He thought I only made 2, but then I had to remind him, no, this is last year and this is the year before.
He was about, I think he was 8 or 9 years old and started junior training here at the club. He developed quite quickly and he had a very natural swing, and I can remember impact position was like perfect.
Sports always come pretty naturally to me. I have that in me. The competitive nature is what I enjoy, and I love competing.
It's always positive for a new challenge. His attitude, when the weather is bad, when the course might not be perfect, he's used to it, and he accepts it and do the best he can do.
It's not easy, but for me, it was super simple. Summers were more golf related. We just played, practice, and all of a sudden it was 10 p.m. and it was still bright. And then the winter time, the limited daylight we have, you got to get a little creative and try to find ways to work on it.
Go out to the top and feel that pressure going, yeah. And now you can turn. So feel that pressure going, yeah, and then push up.
I went to Riksidrottsgymnasiet in Helsingborg. I went to the further south one where I met my swing coach Hans. Like right now, I'm more focused on my body,
really
more
good.
So than my club in my hands.
Perfect, that's what we want.
Yeah, being such a tough environment to play golf in December, you know, you can come back here and get inside and go back to the fundamentals a little bit.
It's not a fancy situation. We need to make sure that the players are in here can practice with a purpose. We have all the lines of the ropes in the net. We have it all for ourselves, and we have it all year round.
You can't see the ball flying, but you can see where the ball starts. We do drills where you get points if you're inside the ropes. It's super creative.
Did you feel the pressure go there?
Yeah.
You can see the ball starts between the ropes.
Yeah, and I can feel it's not going to leak.
Yeah.
I can spend hours and hours here. I can go there to the trackman corner and hit balls, or I can do some chipping over here. I do putting in there.
The school is heralded by elite athletes across all of Sweden who come near and far to perfect their craft.
It's all set for the sports. The schedule and everything are based around where we have our practices. All sports have practices in the morning, then they have their other subjects, and then they go back to their sports.
Whenever it was time to apply for high school, I applied, but I didn't get in. I wasn't good enough. So I went to a regular high school in my hometown for a year. And then luckily, I got accepted after my first year of high school, and then I moved up there.
He was good, but he certainly didn't stand out, but he did a good job when he was here. One of the things that separates him, that he's always quite a calm guy, and his approach to things are quite chill.
I wasn't super flashy. There was always someone who was better at me. So I've always had to almost chase a little bit. The high school for me was the foundation of everything. I learned more advanced swing mechanics and more knowledge about the game, and I could apply that to myself, and then I could develop.
The school also acts in conjunction with the Swedish national team, which is when Åberg started to flourish with a specific goal in mind.
I was accepted a little over a year after I got accepted into the high school. I started to understand that you could go to college and that could be a pathway to the PGA Tour, and I just need to make sure that I'm good enough to get there.
If you look at year 3 and 4, then when he really started standing out, he was the one that everyone wanted to beat, and he was trying to be on top all the time.
You play tournaments in Sweden, or you get play tournaments over in Europe, in the US, in Japan. We got to play in Africa, so just to experience different grass, play Americans, test the waters a little bit younger, I think it's crucial. Swedes in general have very sound technique. I do feel like sometimes you get a little bit too hung up on that. What matters is to get the ball in the hole. Americans do that very well, and it doesn't really matter what it looks like. That's what I learned coming over to college. Texas Tech provides me with all the support that I need. What stuck out to me was that I want to make sure that I enjoy spending time with these people. We're about 50-50 internationals, Americans on the team, and we had some Scandinavians on the team. We play probably the best schedule in college golf, and the tournaments and the players we play against allows you to understand what's needed for the next level.
He's very driven. He's a coach's dream. You want to just say, hey, can you do something wrong so we can think you're human.
And with the newly minted PGA Tour University, Åberg has proven his game is built for the next level, as his successes have earned him the circuit's #1 ranking, a spot which earns PGA Tour membership at season's end.
It's been a little bit overwhelming, not gonna lie. I view myself as me, and that's not gonna change if I'm #1, if I'm number 10.
He was gifted with the ability to stay in the moment and not let the past affect what he's doing in the future, which is so important in golf.
I'm, super grateful to be in the position I am, and I do feel like I've worked hard to get there, and I'm still gonna keep working hard to stay there.
What better way to continue his path to the tour than teeing it up in Dubai, utilizing the lessons of his past professional exemptions, while still accepting the learnings will be well at hand.
I want to be able to play against anyone, and I want to be able to view myself as a player that can compete. And what that looks like, I'm not sure, but I'll figure it out.
My son is number one in the world. He's just a guy who's playing at Eslov. So it's hard to imagine sometimes.
He said, I will be a player of the PGA Tour when he was 16. And now he's almost there. To see him growing from, as this young little boy to where he is today, it's fantastic.
With an understanding of where a potential legacy lies, Åberg is set to follow in the footsteps of the legends of the game.
It comes from the history that you can look back to and see past winners with all the number of accolades and PGA Tour wins that they have.
But more important, the steps to pave his own legacy.
Whenever you're done with your career and you're done with playing tournament golf, I think you want to look back at it and be proud. At the end of the day, I know who I am, and I know the stuff that I do and the stuff that works for me, and if I can keep doing that, I'm sure I'll be fine.